Morning, guys. It is Tuesday the 13th, 9:30 a.m., April 13th. Okay. Gonna talk a little bit about money, and as a prepper, got a lot of people telling me, this, that, the other. And as a prepper, and as someone who is trying to prepare for pretty much anything, being in the Gulf Coast area, we have hurricanes fairly regularly. Whether they hit us or not is 50-50. But we in the Gulf Coast area have unique situations where, as preppers, we are not necessarily in the minority here, because most people in the Gulf Coast area are recommended to prep on some level, even by our own local news media, whenever hurricane season comes into play. But we got interesting times looking us in the face, so I want to address as a prepper. Okay. For years and years and years now, the American dollar has been pretty much the global currency in the world. Due to political ebbs and flows, tides, and as such, and whatever you want to blame it on, the American dollar is no longer worth what it was even 5 years ago. And everybody's like, well, I can still buy this. And I said, yes, but look, you can judge the American dollar very easily in groceries. A dozen eggs used to be $1. Now it's almost $1.50. Things of that nature. You can still buy a dozen eggs and stuff like that, but it's a little more expensive. And everybody's like, well, that's just, the cost of whatever, this, that, and other regulation. Blame it on what you want to blame it on. It is a result of the devaluation of the dollar. The dollar does not buy as much as it used to. And unfortunately, it starts at the grocery store. You actually can see where your dollar goes, or how far it can go at the grocery store. It's a very, very easy way to do it. I mean, you can judge it on stocks or whatever you want to judge it on, but the easiest way to see how much your dollar will buy is at the grocery store. Now, as such, because the American dollar is no longer worth what it used to be, some preppers in the olden days, or in nowadays as well, always want to keep some cash on hand. That is a good thing to do. Keep a little cash on hand, because geopolitical situations at hand We could lose access to our bank accounts, be it a power failure. Let's just say this, okay, and it doesn't have to be a nationwide power failure. Okay, you are in whatever side of town you're on, or wherever you're at right now. Let's just say something weird happened, like the freeze we had a couple of weeks ago here in Texas. Power fluctuated greatly. Some areas of town had some power, some areas didn't have power, but it was a large swath of Texas that at any given point in time did not have power. Guess what? At that particular time, whatever side of town you were on without power, ATMs didn't work. Banks were not open. You still had access to your money through debit cards and stuff like, and credit cards and this, that, and the other, if you could find a place that was open to spend that kind of money. But let's say you had a cracked pipe and you finally got a plumber to come out like the same day, your buddy or a friend of the family came out and fixed your cracked pipe. How would you pay him or her? Well, having a little cash on hand would make that a very, very easy way to go about doing that. Now, cash is always, in my opinion, cash has always been king. Whenever I talk to my customers and stuff like that, if they want to pay me cash, I offer them a little bit of a discount. I'll round it down to the nearest $10 or $20 increment so that it's actually pretty easy, so they, don't have to break it down into a, hand me a fistful of ones. But I also am hearing a lot of people talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Even my buddy, or my favorite YouTube, or my favorite political talk show host, Glenn Beck, talked about crypto and Bitcoin and stuff like that, and he advertised for it. I'm going to tell you guys what I think about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I consider it a lot like stocks. You can have an awful lot of it on paper, but value is only given to what we give that piece of paper. Same with the American dollar. When the U.S. went off of the gold standard, the American dollar was only worth what the American government and the American people deemed it to be worth. It is only paper. Same with stocks and same with crypto. The thing is that stocks and crypto do not exist in your hand. Long time ago, you would buy stocks, and you would actually get a paper that was representative of your stocks. You would get a stock certificate that was representative of the stock investment that you made. Now, whether or not that actually happens nowadays, I'm not sure because I have never dabbled in stocks. But you can, stockbrokers and stuff like that, you see them all the time in movies and on TV and stuff like that. They're always got their phone out, their laptop out, and they're looking at pie charts and graphs and this, that, and the other, watching the ebb and flow of stocks as it moves and grooves. But again, that monitoring of their money as it ebbs and flows is because the value of that stock can change in the blink of an eye. Cryptocurrency, not so much. It is more akin to the dollar, but it is not the dollar. It is more of a specific style type thing, like a debit card. Okay, a debit card allows you access to your dollars in the bank. You can then take out your dollars into the form of cash. Bitcoin and cryptos have no physical aspect to itself. In the thought of, you can't go to a Bitcoin place and extract Bitcoin. Now, I did see I think it was a Walgreens or something like that in my neighborhood that actually had a little sign up that says, I think it was a Bitcoin ATM. So does that mean that Bitcoin can be extracted in the form of American dollars, which would mean that it is converted? So basically, you're looking at, now if this is true, if you're looking at basically a non-American currency being converted to American currency. When you go overseas or out of the country, some people convert their money into that country's money. Some people don't. There are, for the most part, the American dollar is accepted pretty much anywhere you go. Albeit not everybody's going to accept it in that country, but it is generally accepted anywhere you go. So, again, this currency, if what I'm seeing is true, which I have no corroboration on this, it is transferred or converted to American dollars through the Bitcoin app or a Bitcoin ATM. Again, okay, there is no physical representation of this currency. All over the globe, there is a physical presence of that currency. The pound note in EU has a dollar bill, or has a paper representation. They've even got coinage, stuff like that. My prepper instincts cannot do Bitcoin because there is no physical representation of it. Basically, you're putting your faith, hope, and money into ones and zeros in a computer somewhere. And if that computer somewhere, or if there is no electrical access to that banking entity that is Bitcoin, then you have no access to your money. So, there you go. Had you been completely vested in Bitcoin during the freeze we had, you would have no way to pay a plumber or your buddy to come over and fix your cracked pipe. Now, let's go into this a little further, because there's no physical representation of this money. A lot of people ask the prepping community, hey, so okay, what do you do? When it comes down to it, do you barter? If the shit does hit the fan and the monetary system does go to shit, how do we buy goods and services? Well, barter is good. You trade your expertise, skills, and your product for another person's skills or product. I'll fix your pool if you come mow my grass. Or blah, 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 blah. That's a real crappy illustration, but hey, it works. I'll fix your swimming pool for, I don't know, 3 or 4 steaks to a cattle herder. So, or however you want to do it. A currency that is universal and always has value is essential in this situation. And in this situation, something that would always have value is precious metals. And I'm not saying go out and buy a whole bunch of, gold or something like that, but you will find, and it was way in the past, you weren't buying necessarily always with coinage, rings, jewelry, stuff like that always has value. Coins have value. Even the modern day coinage system, quarter, the reason we assign a value to that quarter over what we do for the dollar is pretty much however value that we assign to that dollar. Quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies are a different type of currency. They are metal. They are alloys. They are layers of different metals. So those metals have a value that is universal. And because of the metal in it. We come down to a situation where we need metal to make something happen. We can always melt down a coin to extract those metals. silver. Now, according to what I know about silver, I've been investing in silver for a little while now. Silver has actually been, the price has been monetarily suppressed by the Fed, the United States Fed, because it needs to be to keep prices low. Silver is used in a lot of things, as well as gold, but silver is used more readily because it is less expensive. Although as a conductor, gold is much better. Silver plays a lot of role in different batteries and things like that. Gold is a conductor, but silver actually helps with the production of electricity. Silver is also an oxidant, an oxidizer, and it is used in a lot of medicines and things of that nature. Colloidal silver, liquefied silver. So that's something that needs to be brought into it. Silver always has value. Gold always has value. Jewelry always has value because it is those metals. If you want something to invest in, some people have asked me about bullets, ammunition for SHTF prepping bartering situation. You don't want to barter away your protection. But precious metals is a great way to barter because it has value like anything else. Alright guys, we are at 22 minutes, so I'm going to sign off. Hope this was educational. Catch you on the flip side.